morning. I'm Dana Bergman Falcione.
And I'm Erica Vassalotti, and we're Bergman Vass.
I started my career in architecture, and after working for a few years as an architectural designer, I just decided that it wasn't creative enough for me, and I would spend time down in the interior design department looking at the colors and fabrics and materials. And I realized that that's really where my passion lay. So I then got a job with an interior designer, and that's how it all started.
I worked for Anthropologie, and I worked first as the CEO's assistant, where I learned a lot about design and business. And then I moved on to the catalog, and it was really great. That's where I started putting rooms together. I always had a love for interiors, but I had no idea that you could have this amazing, successful career in something like a creative path. And working there, I started to have an interest in doing it on a more personalized level. So I started freelancing for Athena Calderon of iSwoon, and that kind of gave me a peek into residential interiors. So I looked into freelancing and doing some styling on the side, and that's how I met Dana. I reached out to her to just do some styling for her photo shoots, and I loved it so much. And
Clicked.
Yeah, we clicked, exactly.
Our typical client is, typical are families that probably their children are out of the house and they finally, have the means to build a second home or a third home and really want to do it well at this point in their lives. And we do have some younger clients, but the bulk of our clientele is probably, over middle-aged.
Yeah, and I would say,
My contemporaries.
In terms of our client, and who they are, I think they're well-traveled usually, stylish, and definitely collaborative. Our clients, they like a really collaborative process typically. They like to be involved. They're finally building their dream home, and they want to be super involved in making sure that space really reflects them and who they are and how their family is going to live. And I think that, we have a really passionate client.
And I think they come to us because they don't want the decorator that, with the fringe and the heavy overuse of decorative objects. I think they respect our maybe pared down, more architectural approach to things. They want a lot of space for their children and grandchildren. One thing we saw after COVID was they wanted desks in every bedroom.
I think that I just went to a panel on traditional design being interpreted in modern ways. And everyone was really talking about how COVID impacted design and kind of wanting to get back to a little more of a traditional layout and more intimate and cozy spaces, and not just feeling like everything's super open concept. And I feel like we definitely have seen a little bit of that. Everyone doesn't want everything in one room anymore. They want a little bit more of a designated space, a reason to go and enjoy a space. And I feel like we enjoy designing in that way. Anthropologie taught me a lot about where things are made and kind of how to find them more directly. Rugs being made in India or lighting in China, and just understanding the product development side and how long things take to be made and where you can find vintage things. And then working with Athena dived even deeper into the vintage side and kind of where you could source those things in the United States. She introduced me to First Dibs and Cherish, and just really unique sources that are more niche and maybe you wouldn't come by unless you were in the industry. And that kind of birthed this intensity for me in me to find things that no one else has, one of a kind, really special things that reflects, I don't know, they tell a story, they provide age, they create an interest, and definitely add to reflecting that like soulful feel in a home.
And our clients do enjoy having things that not everyone has. That's important to them.
I have a knack for finding vintage things for less money. So it's a mix. So like one thing is like, I was so determined to find these really interesting chairs for this project, but I knew I wasn't gonna have like $20,000 to spend on them. So I just kept looking, and I found these really unique, like wavy chairs from the 70s. Yeah. And we just used them in a project, and we reupholstered them and put a really fun fabric on them. And when I found them, I was so excited because I think they were like $6,000 for the pair. And I just was like, oh my gosh, like this is a steal. Like if, another, Studio Balestra or somewhere really fancy found these, they'd be selling them for like 3 times as much. So when I can kind of go around and like find them on my own, I get really excited.
And I think one of our goals we would love to have the time to do is to be able to, warehouse some of those finds ourselves. So that's, future goal. I design with broader strokes. I don't get into the minutia of not architectural details, but too much fuss. So I just think that I have a more architectural eye and approach to things.
How it influenced me when I started working with Dana was kind of everything was complementary to the architecture. Our upholstery is super quiet. Our case goods tend to pick up on the spirit of the details that we're doing in the millwork. And because I work with Dana, and we work with a lot of architects because we are building, but we are so highly involved in the millwork and dreaming up what those spaces are going to look like. And it is directly reflective of Dana's architectural experience and why we're able to do that. Dana and I were doing so much custom furniture, and I was like, we should do something with this. Like we have the interest in, expanding and doing, more product lines eventually.
And it's all made in the USA.
And we were just designing so many custom things. And in my typical nature, I was like, let's like make a furniture line. And Dana's like, whoa. And like overnight, I feel like all of a sudden I was like photographing everything we were making, and, forming a really great relationship with our millworker in Connecticut who makes all of our furniture, which has now been like the biggest business asset, especially with these tariffs. And we're really proud of it. We designed, it's a 8-piece collection right now, but it's growing. We just wanted to get it out there, and we're adding additional pieces, nightstand, dining table eventually, counter stools.
We have a lot of our furniture, our custom furniture made right in Connecticut, which we love, but it's really not, it's not feasible to make a lot of furniture in the United States. We just don't have the people who want to do it and who can do it for the costs that are overseas. So right now, hopefully this doesn't all go through, but it's really hit us, the tariffs and the freight charges, and it's brought things up so high.
Well, and the thing is, it's so unpredictable. So we're not really able to give our clients like the foresight into being like, oh, this is going to cost this much more because of the tariff, because we're not getting hit with some of these things until the item's ready to ship, or it's in the process of shipping. And then you're like, oh, this is going to cost you $4,000 more because it's being imported from another country. And nobody likes those bills at the end that aren't their actual product. They're like freight, and especially when they're getting as astronomical as they are now.
I love working on projects at the beach or with beautiful views, and where that indoor-outdoor feel can really be accomplished.
I feel like mine is like developing. Like when I started working with Dana, we were doing so much of the beach. I was like, when are we me do something not at the beach. And now I'm like, oh, I miss like being by the water when we're not by the water. So like, I mean, I keep saying I have this dream of doing like a rural, like coastal estate. So that's definitely on our bucket list. But in general, I love living spaces because I just think it's a space where the family spends so much time. And I just like making really layered, beautiful, tailored living spaces that are approachable and, you know, practical, but look so elegant and refined. And I think we really have a special knack for doing that.
I asked my partner this last night, Mark, my life partner. I asked him this last night when I saw it, and he said, I think people would be surprised that you're a really good cook. I love Italian. I love to bake. I am an avid reader of the New York Times recipes, and I try to make I only make their 5 stars.
For me, it's definitely that I was a political science major. Yeah, so I don't do anything related to political science now, but I am innately creative, I guess you could say.